Hope you guys are having a good one today. Today we're going to talk about the next 10 films on my most anticipated list of 2022. These are the films I'm most excited for coming out next year. We've got some great ones coming out next year, so I hope you guys enjoy this video. Coming in at number 10 on this list for the 10 most anticipated films, I have Black Panther Wakanda Forever, otherwise known as Black Panther 2. This movie has been delayed multiple times already. Before it was supposed to come out, I think, around October or something like that. Now it's coming out in November. This one came out in 2018. I thought it was really good, really great. And now, of course, with the tragedy of Chadwick Boseman, people are wondering, are they gonna recast the next Black Panther? Will it be Shuri? Will it be M'Baku? Will it even be maybe Killmonger? Will he somehow come back with Michael B. Jordan coming back for the next film and taking over that position? There's already some rumors and speculation that there's going to be a son involved. Black Panther and, of course, Lupita Nyong'o's character had a son, and he's most likely maybe one of the reasons that they're going to maybe delay the role of Black Panther in the future in the MCU. But this is one of the most awaited films for me, coming out in 2022, along with, of course, a great director such as Ryan Coogler. With this Black Panther film, a great reason to be excited for is some of the rumors that are spreading around. One of them being also the inclusion of Namor, and also the possibility of Doctor Doom being involved in this film. Doctor Doom is already one of the favorites in Marvel Comics, so him being introduced in the Black Panther 2 film would be amazing, and just because of his role as kind of this being super smart villain known in Marvel Comics already, and that being paired with Black Panther could be one of a great showing for the next year and in the MCU in general. The possibility of Namor now being included in the MCU with being the villain of Black Panther 2 and maybe bringing destruction into Wakanda. Also, the title known as Wakanda Forever could mean that there's a possible tragedy that happens to the city itself. Maybe Atlantis comes in and kind of tries to wash it away, but this is a great movie to see next year and one of the most awaited for me, most definitely. Coming in at number 9, I have Ari Aster's next film for A24, Disappointment Boulevard. I already have Ari Aster in one of my videos of the 10 next generation directors that are going to come out in the future years. Coming with also Ryan Coogler, who's also just talked about one of the best directors working today. I think Ari Aster is definitely in the conversation as well. Already doing Hereditary and Midsommar. He's just a great horror film director, and definitely in that trio along with Peele and Eggers, who I also have on this list as one of the best directors working today. I've heard rumors that it's supposed to be a 4-hour long movie and an epic of a drama and comedy horror type movie about this character that Joaquin portrays. With the combination of Joaquin Phoenix now joining in this film and Ari Aster as director, I think that this film is going to be great next year, 2022. And I think it'll be another great film by Ari Aster alongside Hereditary, which is one of my favorite horror films of all time, and Midsommar being really good too. And I already know this visual is going to be probably amazing, so I can't wait to see what Joaquin Phoenix and Ari Aster come up with in the supposed 4-hour long movie that has been rumored to be. At number 8, I have James Cameron's Avatar 2. Now this film has been long awaited already. The first one came out in 2009. It's already been 13 years since we've been waiting for the second film. And we know that he's going to be making at least 5 Avatar films. He's known to be pushing the technology in cinema, and especially the visual effects department is constantly getting awards and constantly being one of the forward-thinking when it comes to the visual effects department. I think it's definitely going to be one of the biggest in terms of the box office when it comes out. The second film was supposed to be taking underwater in the world of Pandora, so we can even see even better visual effects coming through with James Cameron's next movie. At number 7, I have Killers of the Flower Moon. Martin Scorsese's next big film stars Robert De Niro and Leonardo DiCaprio, two of the best ever in acting in my opinion. The Irishman, his last film, I thought was great. He continues to show how great he is as a director for the years to come, and he's already shown it in the past, obviously, since the 70s. So Killers of the Flower Moon is one of my most awaited films, mainly because of the duo of Robert De Niro and Leonardo DiCaprio working together on this film. Kind of the story and how it involves obviously the FBI and J. Edgar Hoover and this kind of almost mystery criminal detective movie. And I can definitely see this movie gaining a lot of Oscar traction in the coming years when it comes out. The movie's supposed to air on Apple TV next year, so this is going to be a big one for Apple. Since Scorsese is known already working with Netflix last time with The Irishman, now he's working with Apple. He's really trying to get people to come and see his movies as much as possible and try to make his movies possible. Because the last time there wasn't really any big studio trying to give him as much money to make his movie. Now we see that the streaming companies, because it's Martin Scorsese and he's such a great director, now he's being able to make these movies into reality. At number 6, I have Jordan Peele's next movie, Knope. This is again one of his trifecta in terms of horror movies. It's going to be his third horror film that's come out now after Get Out and Us, which I thought were both really great as horror movies. He's constantly in that conversation for me as being part of the trio with Robert Eggers and Ari Aster as the best horror filmmakers working right now. Can't wait for this film. This film already has a great cast with Daniel Kaluuya coming back from Get Out. We have now Keke Palmer and Steven Yeun is supposed to be in this movie as well. So it's going to be an interesting cast. It should be really great. Can't wait to see what story he comes up with this time as a horror film. Can't wait for our next Jordan Peele film to come out. At number 5, I have The Northmen by Robert Eggers. This is the trio I was talking about earlier with Robert Eggers, Jordan Peele, and Ari Aster all coming out with movies next year as kind of this horror film trifecta. Already a great cast involved with Anya Taylor-Joy returning as she was in The Witch with Robert Eggers before, and that was one of his first big movies to come out. I love The Lighthouse last year, which already had a great cast with Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. But this new film is also bringing on Alexander Skarsgård, Nicole Kidman, and Ethan Hawke are also joining this film now with Robert Eggers. So I'm expecting a great story to be told and a great performances and just a great work to come out from Robert Eggers again. And I know he's known for making these gothic horror tales now from the past, so I'm pretty sure he's bringing one of those back into his next movie. So I just can't wait to see it when it comes out next year. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness at number 4 for this film. Mainly due because I've been waiting now for a really long time for the next Doctor Strange film. It's been since 2016 since the first Doctor Strange film came out. So I've been waiting like 5 years already for this film to come out. Alongside with the great images and just visual style of Doctor Strange being very different from the past MCU films, I think it's one of the main reasons why I've been waiting so long and why it's so high on this list for me. But Doctor Strange, the first one, was directed by Scott Derrickson. It was supposed to be, and for the sequel, it's supposed to be him, but now, because of differing creative opinions, now Sam Raimi came in to take over the role, and I think he'll do a really great job with it. But I hope this film lives up with mainly being kind of a horror type tale, I've heard, and I hope it kind of brings a new view when it comes to the MCU and brings kind of a horror element into it. And I hope it continues the great visual and trippy styles that it had in the first film. One of the reasons is also because of the link between WandaVision, Loki, and the possibility of Spider-Man coming back into this movie after No Way Home. Kang might be involved in this movie, who knows when it comes out. But there's so many speculation as to what's to happen in this movie, and that's why it's so high on my list. Number 3, now I have Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie working on the next Mission Impossible 7. I think Fallout was the best of the series so far and was one of the best action movies, I think, of this past decade. I think Tom Cruise will continue to be doing great stunts in this film. Either if it's jumping out of an airplane or jumping on top of a train or a truck or driving a car into a bike or a bike into a car, I think Tom Cruise will continue to bring in these great stunts and action moments in this series. And I'm expecting Mission Impossible 7 to live up to Fallout, as I thought that was the best that they've done so far and made one of the best action movies I've seen in a long time. At number 2 on this list, I have Taika Waititi's Thor: Love and Thunder. Coming off Thor Ragnarok, which I thought was one of the best MCU films thus far in the series, I think Taika is going to take this to a new level and also it just continues to expand the Thor mythos if possible. I think Beta Ray Bill might be involved in this film. The story of the God Butcher is one of the best Marvel comic stories I've ever read, so I just think that storyline and him having that villain will be great, played by Christian Bale. I just think it's going to be a great matchup for Taika and for just the MCU in general. Bringing on Jane Foster as supposedly the next Thor could be a really good decision because I really like the comic version of Jane Foster as Thor, but I know some people might not want that to happen. But I hope they continue to bring in both of them into the future of the MCU. I hope Thor continues to be his version of Thor, maybe Jane continues to be this new version and kind of takes up the mantle for some time, and then maybe Chris Hemsworth's character does something else in the meantime. He is already known to bring in the fun and the humor in all of the MCU, so I think he'll continue to do that with this next film. He's already made a bunch of great films in my opinion. The Hunt of the Wilder People, with his film Jojo Rabbit. He just has a great diverse catalog of movies that he's already made, and a lot of it involves his humor, which I think is really funny as well. So this next film I think is going to be a step up from Thor Ragnarok, hopefully, and I hope it continues to bring in some great action sequences along with the previous Thor Ragnarok. God Butcher is one of the best in Marvel Comics in recent years, and because of that it brings in the relationship of Thor and the three Thors in particular of going from the future and the past. I'm not sure if they're going to do that entirely in this movie, but it would be cool if they took parts of that and implemented it into this movie. I think we might see a great action sequence involving maybe multiple Thors in this film, with Jane Foster and probably Chris Hemsworth character as Thor as well, maybe from the past or the future, and then they get involved, and that's how it comes to be the three Thors. But I hope they implement that in the next coming film, and it's definitely one of the reasons why I have it so high as number 2 on my list. At number 1, I have Matt Reeves' Batman. Batman is already one of my favorite characters ever, and definitely my favorite superhero of all time. So I can't wait to see the next Batman film to come out. And it's coming out sooner rather than later compared to all of these films, and that's Matt Reeves' The Batman. Coming out in March next year in 2022, I think this will be one of the best films of next year. Hopefully the best film of next year, as I have it as my number 1 most anticipated. I just can't wait for this film to come out. The trailer was amazing that came out of Fandom, which is trash, but that was the one saving grace out of Fandom, which was the Batman trailer and how great it was. I think the Batman trailer was one of the best of this year that I've seen, and it continues to show why I think Pattinson and Matt Reeves were right to create this movie and to continue with that kind of dark film noir style tone. And I think that this will have a great detective story and murder mystery with the Riddler involved now. I just think this movie is going to be really great. I hope that Robert Pattinson gets to show off how great of an actor he is, as I've already seen him in The Lighthouse and Good Time. He's a really great actor, and I think he's going to pull off the role as Batman. Matt Reeves is a great director, working on the Planet of the Apes trilogy and showcasing how great he is working with CGI with Andy Serkis, and also him coming into this movie and how he's great at creating also great action scenes as well and working with great actors. I think Matt Reeves was definitely the right pick to make the Batman. I really can't wait to see how beautiful this movie will look next year, especially because of the trailer and how it showcases how well the cinematography was done just in that 2-minute, 3-minute trailer that we saw from Fandom. I've also heard in this movie that this is supposed to be kind of a blend of a lot of different villains from the Batman catalog, which is the Penguin, the Riddler, and I've even heard some small rumors involving maybe even the Joker as Barry. Eternal's Barry is gonna be maybe in this movie, maybe hopefully for like an end credit sequence, because I think the Joker has been done so many times already that I think they should just move on for right now. Maybe in the future, in the next couple, maybe in the sequels, we'll see him involved. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for this video. Let me know what are some of your favorite films coming out next year and which ones you can't wait to see.